Well, hey guys, I'm Nick and welcome back to Sci-Finatics. Well, today we're having a look at the very first sneak peek scene from our first episode of Star Trek Strange New Worlds Season 2. This is the episode featuring the trial of Una Chin Riley, number 1, who obviously was dragged away and put into custody and everything at the end of Season 1, and obviously Season 2 is beginning off with her trial and how that is going to proceed. And we have a cool sneak peek scene to have a look at on this trial scene. There's some really cool harkbacks from original series in this sneak peek scene, from costumes to dress uniforms and technology and everything, which is kind of like right out of the original series, which is really retro. So yeah, let's take a look at that sneak peek scene featuring the trial.
This court is now in session. Joining me as judges in this tribunal are Space Command Representative Zust Tlago and Starfleet Commander Chip. Commander Chin Riley, do you consent to Captain Battelle as the prosecuting officer?
I do.
Let the charges be read.
I love the dress uniforms. They're right out of original series, right down to the kind of the medals in that sort of strange flower design that they've got on their uniforms as well. I think they had that quite a bit in original series, the dress uniforms with their sort of, their medals and whatnot in that kind of configuration. So they've kept the same costume design, which is kind of cool to see. Not to mention the technology of those sort of weird, back in original series, they just looked like wooden discs or whatever they would put into the little disc slot, and they've done that again in this episode, but this time they light up. There's some some animation there, and they've sort of tried to make them a little bit more technical, even though they're sort of the same kind of thing which we saw back in original series, the original equivalent of like a USB stick or an SD card or something. Also got to say, this guy has the least sounding Vulcan name I've ever heard in a Star Trek series. Commander Chip? Seriously?
Lieutenant Commander Una Chin Riley has been formally charged with violating Starfleet Regulation 614617, prohibiting permanent DNA modification as well as submitting false information to Starfleet, and 2 counts of sedition.
How do you plead, Commander?
Not guilty.
I'm not sure about you guys, but the actress who's playing the judge in this trial, geez, she's familiar. I reckon she's been in Star Trek before. I've been trying to do a Google image search, trying to find out any information I can about her. Obviously, because this episode hasn't been released yet, there isn't any cast information, but her voice is super familiar. I reckon she's played a role in Star Trek before. Initially, I thought it might have been Salome Jens, who played the leader of the Changelings in DS9, but I know it's not her. But if any of you guys know what roles this actress has played before and whether she's done anything in Star Trek before, her voice particularly is so super familiar. I reckon she's done something and I just can't place it. So if any of you guys happen to know, let me know.
When did you first meet Una Chin Riley?
On my first day as an ensign on the Enterprise.
She was part of the rescue mission that found me after I escaped from a Gorn breeding planet.
You have a very unique last name. Do you have any relation to Khan Noonien Singh?
Yes.
Did you ever suspect Una to be an Illyrian?
No, I did not.
Star Trek's had some really good courtroom scene episodes in the past, from Measure of a Man to The Drumhead and so forth, that have all been really interesting. So I'm hoping this episode is up amongst those in their courtroom drama. You know, hopefully this is kind of like a Star Trek, sort of A Few Good Men kind of type episode or something. Because I think there've been a long line of sort of courtroom episodes in Star Trek over the years, and hopefully this stacks up to ones that have come before.
Did you ever get the sense that Commander Chin Riley was hiding something?
Never.
Just that she was discreet and empathetic and handled personal matters with great care.
Yes, I did get the sense that she was hiding something.
What was she hiding?
It's going to be interesting to see how Captain Battelle's relationship with Captain Pike is going to be influenced by these courtroom proceedings. Obviously, In season 1, we had that relationship going on between Battelle and Pike. And now that Battelle has been the one that's dragged Una Chin Riley to court and is prosecuting her, this is going to strain relationships quite a bit, I would imagine, between Battelle and Pike. So it'll be interesting to see how the repercussions of these legal events are going to ripple through that relationship. Also, is it just me, or does it look like they've reused one of the sets from Star Trek Discovery as this courtroom set here? It looks very similar to the Federation Starbase set they used in Discovery, with everybody would stand around this big sort of open circle thing in the middle. It looks really similar to that set, so I'm wondering whether they've reused some Discovery set pieces for this episode. Apart from the sneak peeks, we've also got some promo photos to have a look at as well. So let's take a look at some of those promo photos and see what they have to offer in terms of what we've got in store for season 2 of Strange New Worlds. So here we have Spock sitting in the captain's chair on the Enterprise. I wonder whether this is the scene we saw in the earlier trailer where Spock does his kind of catchphrase to go to warp and sort of says, "I want the ship to go now!" Here's a shot of Kirk and Lan, obviously during their time travel expedition, holding hands in a rather tight fashion here. I think whether they've just arrived or about to return or something, they obviously looks like they've perhaps just arrived in the past or wherever it is here. Looking very tense. Shot of our new chief engineer, Pelia, played by actress Carol Kane. I wonder what the significance is of the brooch that she wears above her Starfleet emblem there. Obviously, Una's trial works out okay because she's back on the bridge of the Enterprise here with Spock in the background. It looks like in the view screen there in the back of the bridge, we've got that big space station that we see in some of the trailer shots. Clearly, this is from the same episode because we've got the same thing in the background. I think this is from episode 7, which I believe is the Strange New Worlds Lower Decks crossover episode, which features Boimler and Mariner. And here they are, Boimler and Mariner in the transporter room, episode 7. Boimler is holding some kind of device here in his hands. I can't quite tell what it is, but it's something ball-shaped, clearly. Lieutenant Ortegas at the helm. Maybe this is from the episode where she's doing all those fancy maneuverings around asteroids and so forth. Pike here, wearing the latest fashions, no doubt, from Rigel 7, in that episode where they return to the events that took place preceding the Cage episode from original series. Looks like Uhura, obviously no longer a cadet, she's now probably an ensign at her communications station on the bridge of the Enterprise. Mbenga and Chapel on an away mission, clearly wearing civilian attire to blend in, and with the Mbenga passing to Chapel some sort of antidote or medical treatment or vaccine. Well guys, hope you've enjoyed this little sneak peek scene from our first episode of season 2 of Strange New Worlds, along with the promo photos as well. If you haven't subscribed to Sci-Finatics yet, please don't be shy to do so. Click on that big subscribe button to stay current and up to date with all the latest Star Trek news on YouTube. Also be sure to check out my merch store where you can pick up plenty of Star Trek themed merch, from hoodies to mugs to caps to stickers to you name it, it's all there. And there's always sales and everything going on and pretty good prices, so be sure to check that out. Help support the channel at the same time. Guys, I'll be back very soon with my next video. I'll see you soon.